from their 17-16 loss to Navy like it never happened. Brought to you by ServPro, the number one choice in cleanup and restoration. Buffalo Bills Sports Radio Network. Of their win yesterday over the New England Patriots, Patriots were riding a 10-game win streak that comes to an end after they were up 21-0, 24-7 at half. Buffalo scored 5 straight possessions, 4 touchdowns, and Josh Allen postgame had this to say about his team's willingness to fight. All right. Well, you know what? Good. I don't need to hear from him as a Patriots fan.
Yeah, let's hear from you.
Sounds like a hater. You sound like a hater. How do you feel knowing that your team blew a 21-point lead at home?
Oh, yeah.
To a division rival that you already beat this season?
Yeah, 10-game win streak ending.
Yikes.
So part of me, glass half full, part of me looks at this and says they probably needed a little blip on the radar, a little wake-up call, hey, you're not that good, that kind of thing. But the way in which it happened, I never felt like at 21-0 that game was over because I thought it was a little too quick. Like, meaning there was so much time left for Josh Allen. But I swear to you guys, after this game, all I could think about were the Bills and not even the Patriots. Because I have not thought, even as a Patriots fan, they were like legit Super Bowl contenders this year. I thought next year was going to be that year. And maybe I'm going to be wrong, and that'll be awesome if I'm wrong here. But what Josh Allen did yesterday had me thinking about him and had me thinking about the fact that how do you have any excuse not to win at all? I don't care if your defense is not as good as it once was. I don't care if your wide receivers are not as good as you would hope them to be in the past with Steph Diggs there and Gabe Davis more so in his prime and really doing well with Josh Allen specifically. That guy is as much of a one-man band as there is in the NFL. And with no clear-cut best team, although Denver's pretty damn good, with no clear-cut best team in the league, there is absolutely no excuse for the Buffalo Bills at worst to get to the Super Bowl. And I think it is absolutely, after watching them yesterday, Super Bowl or bust for this team. There is no loss that you should feel like, it's a justified loss. I get that we lost that game if you're Buffalo. Super Bowl or bust. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, the opportunity is right there in front of Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. And I don't know that there's a head coach quarterback tandem that has more pressure on them to take advantage of a playoff field that won't have Joe Burrow, that won't have Patrick Mahomes, and that might not have Lamar Jackson. So, yeah, Josh Allen, Bills, you guys have been the landlords of the AFC East for some time. You still don't control your own fate when it comes to winning the division, but you do have an opportunity considering the inexperience of all of the quarterbacks that will be in the AFC playoff field. So I think that there's got to be a sense of urgency within that franchise to take full advantage of the hand that you've been dealt in the misfortunes of all the other teams that we dubbed contenders coming into this year. But yesterday, to me, what became obvious in terms of how the Buffalo Bills need to try to win football games, it needs to start through the ground game and through James Cook. Because the biggest difference that we saw from half to half was them getting James Cook in the ground game going. James Cook in the second half, 15 carries, 75 yards, and 2 tutties. I thought it was amazing that one touchdown run that he had where he extends right at the goal line. We thought he was down short of the end of the goal line, but then replay shows that he was able to keep his body off the ground long enough to get the ball to break the plane. James Cook has been absolutely phenomenal. You saw the swing pass that he caught at the end of the first half, poor touchdown. To me, that was a significant turning point in the game. That kicked off a streak of the Buffalo Bills scoring 5 consecutive touchdowns. So I know we get enamored with Josh Allen putting on the cape, but let's not get it twisted. The offense is at its best when you're running it through number 4 and you're allowing Josh Allen's special traits to be a complement to your team's overall approach to run the football and the ground game. I thought Buffalo's ability to be able to control the game, to be able to limit the possessions for the New England Patriots in the second half was the biggest difference.
Yeah, Josh Allen is amazing. The run game was awesome yesterday.
Yeah.
They're a team that should absolutely take advantage of the path that lays before them. You don't have the usual suspects standing in their way. However, this is a team sport. You do have concerns about the defense. And This is not me diminishing what I saw from Josh Allen or the Buffalo Bills yesterday. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season. That's how much I believe in him and how much I believed in them. But as the AFC picture is coming into focus a little more, as we're getting more data points on these teams, would you really be surprised if they lost to Jacksonville?
No.
In the first round?
No.
Would you be surprised if they lost to Houston or Denver with those defenses?
No.
I wouldn't either. So while I agree, Ev, that they have a lot of pressure on them, and he is so good, and they have been so good at times that it seems like they should walk to the Super Bowl. I also am seeing more from these teams in the AFC, and I absolutely think the Buffalo Bills have vulnerabilities and could lose in the playoffs.
Sure, you could say that, but in terms of the pressure part of this, like in terms of the teams with more pressure on them, Denver doesn't have it, Jacksonville doesn't have it, New England doesn't have it. All the teams that you would say would be equal to in terms of the pressure have all won Super Bowls before. I mean, if you think about Super Bowl or bust type teams in either conference, or at least mentality-wise, the Rams at 11-3, number 1 seed, Super Bowl favorites as per DraftKings Sportsbook, right? They've won. If they don't win again, okay, it's not the end of the world. Like, they've won. Philadelphia just won, right? I mean, think about what other teams would you look at and say they have as much pressure to win it all this year, right now, than Buffalo. And if you guys are going to tell me that they're going to lose potentially in the first round, then sorry, I have to make some sort of change if I'm Buffalo. I have to do it. I will go back to my stupid example of Roger Federer better win on clay if Nadal's not playing. Right? Like, no, and that's what he did when Nadal. That's what this is. You better win the AFC when Mahomes and Lamar and Burrow ain't playing. I understand how good Herbert can be. I told you last week I thought Trevor Lawrence is the one wild card in all of this because when he's at his best, he's the only one.
Good.
Man.
He's the only one that can hang with this crew when he's at his best. And I think Bo Nix is better than most people do. But this is ridiculous. This is yours. This is your. I don't know how many times you have to say this. This is your conference, Buffalo. If you don't do it this year, major changes. I'm sorry.
Well, it sounds like Evan. It sounds like you're ready to go to the place of Josh Allen being the best player in the NFL.
Well, he's the best active player in the NFL. I would agree with that. That was a good caveat there, right?
Yeah, because Mahomes is injured
now. Yeah, that was good.
We saw what you did there.
But listen,
even I was impressed with myself there.
But listen, that's a part of the equation, right? If you have the best player in the NFL remaining, if you're Sean McDermott, you have zero excuses. And as a head coach that made his chops in this league on the defensive side of the ball, he's got to find a way for that unit to be able to overcome all of the issues. Now, I thought the biggest thing that defense was able to do was to be able to limit the ability of the New England Patriots to put together drives in the second half. Now, of course, a big part of that was the offense, keeping the Patriots offense off the field. The Buffalo Bills held the ball for over 22 minutes. New England only had 3 first downs in the second half. So if your offense can in part be your defense by being able to control the complexion of games, then all of a sudden I'm not as worried about the weaknesses of the Buffalo Bills, especially when you know that the ground game and Josh Allen are going to be able to make the requisite plays that you need to put your team on the winning side of it at the end if it's a closely contested game. The one concern that I have for Buffalo is their inability to get out to fast starts. That was the one thing that we saw yesterday, and it's something that's plagued them throughout the course of the season. They're bottom 10 in first half point differential. Now, what helps them is that they're the best when it comes to second half point differential. But you got to think with all of those great defenses that you're going to be faced with in the AFC playoff picture, getting out to a slow start could come back to bite you. So that's the one thing that I would say for the Buffalo Bills. They've got to figure out, how can we get James Cook, how can we get Josh Allen going a lot faster and not rely on trying to have double-digit comeback after double-digit comeback after double-digit comeback. At some point, that comes back to bite you. And so that's the thing that they've got to figure out. But there's a lot to like in terms of how this Bills team is playing. And you know, with 17-4 in your backfield, you're always going to be in it.
Super Bowl or bust. Simple as that. Now more than ever for that team. All right, coming up. When the season ends in the middle of the week, it probably doesn't bode well for a Sunday game that you have against a division rival. We'll explain what that means coming up.